With the EVE Alpha program expanding and becoming more attractive to prospective new players, and tons of flashy internet space boat vids out there, should you actually play it? Yes. Well, maybe. It's complicated. Let's take a look at the day-to-day reality of EVE Online. First, let me get the title stuff out of the way. One of the first things to understand about EVE is that its visual elements are largely ornamental. That is to say that the game is actually played more like a point-and-click adventure with 100 menus. Bitter vets insist that's the only way one should bother playing, and don't worry, we'll discuss the bitter vet phenomena more later. But getting the most of the visual EVE experience is all about personal preference. I'm going to walk you through some of the different things you can do with the camera once you start to get comfortable with the UI, and I'm going to use a bunch of EVE lingo without getting into specifics. If by the end of this video you're still jazzed on flying an internet spaceship of your own, then you absolutely should. Let's begin our day-to-day experience with normal camera settings the way that you'll see the game 90% of the time. And let's speed it up, because space is big and nothing happens fast until things are shooting at you. I've picked up a level 4 mission called Serpentis Extravaganza, and I'm taking my rattlesnake out into the dead space location the agent provided me. My rattlesnake is built to be a passive shield-tanked sniping drone boat, and if these phrases are giving you that warm tingly feeling, you're in the right headspace for EVE. As a very quick explanation, PvE missions range from levels 1 through 5 with increasing difficulty, the expectation being that as your standing increases and your skills increase, you move into bigger ships with stronger builds. My rattlesnake has crazy bonuses to drones, and shields regenerate passively, so I've tried to make mine as strong as possible so I don't have to worry about it. You'll notice that unlike other RPGs or racing or flying games, I'm not directly controlling my ship. Most of EVE is not directly controlled. You select destinations and lock targets from the overview, you turn modules on and off but don't aim them. That all happens under the hood. This may seem less exciting, but it allows you to absorb and coordinate a much larger amount of information. Think of it like being a captain on the bridge instead of a private using all of his focus to aim the gun. The fight is now in full swing, and you may notice how quiet it is compared to other EVE videos. That's by design. I built this boat to put in as much work as possible while taking very little damage. The battle feels slow because I have full control over the major factors like targeting and distance. With my drones out and ships flying directly at me with no transversal to affect my tracking, they get picked off one by one. And now we can have a little fun with the camera. Normally I use this view called auto tracking, which simply focuses on whatever I click on while keeping me in the foreground. It's a great way to track where things are in relationship to each other on the map and provide some interesting angles, a step up from just staring at my ship center on the screen while things happen around me. Auto tracking is only one element in finding those great views though. The next element to add in is the look at command. I think that it's hold Alt and click, but this simply centers your camera on something besides your own ship. It doesn't affect combat in any way, though I suppose you could gain info on target trajectory and direction, or even their weapons loadout if you ever memorize those things, but for this purpose it's just to add some flair. I can look at the different glorious ships and see their shields and armor react to the damage they're taking. So neat! Combining these two elements of auto-targeting and look at, we can open up the field to some very cinematic shots. I know my mission boat well enough to know I have the pocket under control, so let's have some fun. Also, I set a hotkey so I can remove the UI. Not something I do in a heated PvP fight unless I'm the designated camera person, but we're fine here. There are other ways to watch the game besides the cinematic stuff. The tactical camera and tactical overlay are for the big fight battle map Star Wars tactician types and are critical in larger fights. It shows distance on a flat plane from your ship, and the elements above and below you are indicated with those neato curved lines. From here you can see everything: max targeting range, max weapon and module range, your direction and velocity. I don't have any right now because I'm sitting still. Enemy direction and velocity. You see those little red lines? I can tell at a glance exactly what's moving where and how fast, if they have me locked or they're shooting. It's not a pretty map, but it's chock full of information. And using the look at feature, I can move around the battlefield and check and verify and strategize. That's the visual reality of EVE Online. And as with most things EVE, rookie pilots don't quite understand it yet, and bitter vets have all but forgotten it. EVE doesn't happen in space, it happens in the menus, in those hundreds of clicks I've been juggling, in my cap recharge and tank recharge rates, and in the skills I've trained in the modules I've fitted. The visual element is just another skill to be learned to make the most and to represent what's already happening. And it'll give you back as much as you put in. I hope this sober look at the actual day-to-day gameplay has helped you decide if you want to give it a try, and I hope you do. And if you do, be sure to reach out to the Digital.Flash fleet for a place to learn and grow. And be sure to look for more videos on EVE in the future. From all of us at Digital.Flash.Fire, I'm Matt, Rolling Thunder!